motion. Motion to approve.
I'll second. Aye. It's a little greeny.
Yeah, I think that's,
Stop for a second, let it focus, who's ever doing.
it's Brad.
Close enough.
All right.
I'll let Mike sit down.
Well, good morning.
So just in front of you here is just a drawing of the area that we are considering for clearing and grubbing at the AMP site. It shows up, it looks like it's a green line here, but this is a blue outline. It's proposed to be done in 2 phases, all at the same time, but what we're requiring the clearing and grubbing contractors to take care of all the blue first. This is where there's any buildings and structures. This is where we really need to know the information about grades for design. Pardon me? Stage is going to be right about in here. Oops, sorry, like that. The orange area is basically grass parking lot area out here. Won't be as bad to clear and grub, but that is that phase. And then we did pull out what you see in this is actually red here. This is the
We went-
trails.
We went past it.
You can do it later, yeah. Hang around.
So the red is a trail, and that was pulled out of the clearing and grubbing quotation. Another quick drawing for you is here, another type of drawing. We have over 100 different points. It's hard to see from your viewpoint there, but these are surveyed points throughout the whole site, delineating the outer edges of where we need to clear and grub from. And the yellow lines depict areas where me and Shauna tried to put string between the poles so we could see where we were actually at, how that looked out there. Very forested, very ugly. It's hard to see between posts. You wouldn't think it would be, but it is. So that's just giving you an idea of that. And again, the red down here is showing the trail that wasn't going to be done underneath this project. Did get a copy of the bid tabs or the quote tabulations. Do you have that in front of you?
Mhm.
Okay. So we ended up taking 3 valid quotes.
Bill, can you put that on there? We can't see it.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you had it with you.
Thanks.
You have it as an attachment.
It's in your,
Oh, you don't have your.
All right, CNL Excavating, Molitor Excavating, and Cavisto Tree Service quoted underneath this. 2 other people quoted, but they did not do the form right, and they did leave some of the items out, so.
I'm getting seasick.
Is it because of my arm?
no.
I apologize.
Good. You're good.
Okay. Anyway, so we had an engineer's estimate from SCH, what they thought it would be. That came at $52,000. CNL was the apparent low quote at $78,770. And Molitor at $104,745, and Cavisto at $104,900. This is a good quote. This site is very hard to get your arms around it, literally. Most of the questions I got even from YTS and Treetop, and then there was another company, that Castle Rock, that visited the site with me, and he pulled out. He said, it's just too hard to understand what I'm getting myself into here. He said, I'd have to protect it so high that I'd have to have my price way up there. And he goes, I'm not going to even get into the game. So I feel we're really good here. So CNL is a good contractor that's worked with us in the past. And
Why do you feel, Bill, there's such a difference between Terry's estimate and the low bid?
They're just going by regular clearing grub, normal property. You get out into here, it's not normal.
You think Terry missed something, or?
No.
Okay.
It's just,
Seems to be
they're
quite
just going off
spread.
of past projects wherever they've got. You can take a normal farm field or whatever, or, you know, a farmer's grove. This isn't like that. So, no, I'm very, very pleased to get that 78, so.
Council, what's your wishes?
So, question.
Yep.
You said that the clearing and grubbing is in 2 phases, but does this price cover both phases?
Yes, it does.
So
Yeah.
the contractor's just gonna break it up?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, I just wanted them to get that one area cleared, because as soon as they got an area cleared, and even if it's part of, I'll go back to the map, if they just get up here first,
Yeah,
then I'm bringing the surveyors in right behind it, because we want to get that survey information back to Terry and to Jeff, so
the
that they keep those.
topology.
Yep.
Okay.
So just trying to speed the process up, that's why.
When will they start?
In this, having a special council meeting a week early helps that much?
Yep,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, that's what,
Yeah. Now, the question is when it's going to start. We were hoping maybe next week, but it might be the following week, but it takes prep time from the contractor. And I've got to, like, we think we've talked, we have to inventory all the trees at this point.
Right.
Anything over 6 inches. So that's on my shoulders to go out there and count every tree and determine if it's 6 inches or bigger, and then count it, mark it, tally it. So right now, we're hoping that we can get an exemption from that, but if we don't get it by the time this starts, then that's what I'm gonna do. We also have to delineate better with, like we and Shauna did the string out there, but that's not good enough for the contractor. He's coming in with big equipment, and they go by little flags, so we're gonna have to mark all these little trees and branches on that delineation line. They'll actually sweep the outer edge, do that first, and then once they get that cleared, then they just move right into the middle and take everything out, so.
did you already have someone in your staff starting to measure the trees and
I-
inventory?
Me and Shauna did that one day, and
Okay.
Can't really do much until they're in there.
What's the duration of the
Wow.
project?
I gave them until the August 31st that they have to
So
have it
you're gonna
completed.
try to inventory while they're clearing?
Yes.
Oh, all right.
I was
What would be
gonna
our
try-
next step then after August 31st? What would be our next step moving forward after the trees are
We
done?
have to approve the design of finishing up the design of the project, and then we'll look at, and hopefully we'll still have the ability to go out for bid on it this fall. That would be our goal.
Right.
How long is it gonna take to remove the trees?
Well, they've got till the end of August, the 31st is what I put in the quote, so. The guy told me that when he comes in, he figured about 3 days he'll have it done. Because I was planning on being out there in front of him, and he says, nope, no, you're not. I need to have 5 acres marked, ready to go, because when I come in, we're gonna clear it out, so I would've just slowed him down, so.
What do they do with all the wood, all the trees?
It's their wood, so they'll either chip it, they'll probably salvage the bigger trees, the good wood, sell it, but that's part of the deal, so.
So they haul it all away and everything?
Yeah, everything's gone, yep. There'll be some small wood chips on the
That's-
ground, but that's nothing, so. The other part of this quote is and you'll see there was a stormwater protection, so silt fence will go up, and that'll be for the entire project for the length of the project. So we needed to put it up our construction entrances, so that's built into this number also. So you'll see that. So we're starting to do a few of the things ahead of it.
Sure. I'll move to award the
Second.
tree clearing contract to CNL Excavating
I'll
in the
second
amount
that.
of $78,770.
Still second.
That include the removal of all the stumps and everything also?
Yes.
or-
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, there was a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Passes for those present. All right, next item is, I get back to my screen here. We move on to item B, consider quotes for concrete work at City Hall.
Yeah, I put in front of you, just before you guys got here tonight, the 2 quotes that we received for concrete work. I'll just briefly go over the proposal with you. That's fine, Sean, I can just move it here. We put together, we're gonna be working on the fire department here, starting the 13th on the interior floor, resurfacing, correcting the problems in there. We've already done the trench drains, and got those taken care of in front of it. But in front here, this is the front 13th Avenue area, we call Area B and Area Area A, excuse me, and Area B on the backside. That was the base quote that you'll see highlighted on your page. All the other areas were other work that we should get done, but they weren't critical. Were D, E, C, E, D, E, and F. So what I did on this was I wanted just a base quote because of the work with the fire department being down, we need to move them out to the old Public Works at 602 during this process. I do have some pictures here. I mean, I'll just,
I went and looked at it.
I'm sure most
So,
of you have
yeah.
seen what it is out there.
Yeah, that's
so
the front.
That's
Yeah.
the front, yeah. And then here's one picture of the back area. So this needs to be done no matter what we need to do at this time. The other stuff was kind of, I don't know, not called fluff, but I thought, you know, let's see what numbers we get with that price since they're going to be on site. The numbers came in a little bit higher with the apparent low on the base bid. And so I'm asking tonight just to move forward with Custom Builders to do the area A and B in the fire hall aprons. And we'll deal with the other stuff next year.
I got a question about that.
Yep.
Now, when you pour them slabs, or let's say area A, were you gonna cut that concrete so they're gonna pour like an apron there? So
Yeah.
it's separate from the rest of the driveway?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
are they gonna do that too then in A, so we have an apron and then the driveway?
Yes. Yep.
Perfect, okay.
Yep.
Yep.
We actually got some good guidance from one of these contractors on how to actually do it, so that when we put together the quote, that it was
Yeah, I didn't know if they're gonna actually treat that as two separate pours
right.
when they do that, so that has a good break in that line.
That's what the problem's out here is we don't
It's a
have that.
continuous slab.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
And now you may have not had to do something there because was built that way.
well, especially in the back.
Yeah,
I'm not sure why the back did what it did back there, if it's just soil differences on the site at the time when they built it, or. But in the back there, we actually mud jacked that up a couple of years ago. We had almost a 2-inch gap drop out there.
I
so.
seen where the sidewalk was jacked back
Yeah.
there.
But it still doesn't solve I mean, it got rid of the trip problem, but it didn't solve.
When are you doing when are you doing the main floor in the fire department?
It's gonna get new epoxy on the top of it. And next to the trench drains, the concrete is spalled out in areas where it's chipped away, and so those will all get ground out and epoxy.
When are you scheduled to do that? Same time?
13th. Yeah. Yeah, we've got it's a fairly extensive little schedule that we've got, trying to keep the fire department going and which doors are gonna come in and out of and where staff can park, especially in the
Yeah.
back. And you can go out the front for a while, but we have to have the cure time, and so it's gonna be a project that'll last almost 3 weeks from start till everything's back to normal again. So you'll see, and it'll be up to Jim to decide if he wants to come back after a week and use one apron and go out the back door and respond, or he can see how it's working out at 602, and he might just choose to stay there until the end of it. That's up to him, but
The units are at the old city garage, right?
they will be.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
So the 36,000, almost 37,000, that only takes care of them two areas.
Yeah.
Wow. Is that like a 6-inch?
The other areas,
I believe that's
the
an
other
8-inch.
areas that you're pointing out here,
Yep.
how much do we need to get those done? Or they have to be done, but I'm
They
just
ha-
looking at the bid. We can save $10,000 here by getting it all done at once, so.
The other contractor bid the
52,540.
alternates at a
Yeah,
lesser
you-
price.
Yeah,
You could take the base, this was set up to be on base bid. And so the apparent base bid winner, or what you want to call it low, is Custom Builders at 36. Kevin Johnson's base was 39. If you total them all together, Kevin Johnson is almost $10,000 cheaper.
With
So,
everything.
with everything. So,
Well-
yeah, you could. I mean, that is your option out there.
What, I
Do you-
looked at like area F, there's only one corner broken out on them steps, so that is not that bad.
Well, the railing is the
railing.
problem. We want to redo the railing.
Right.
And do it right, because there's nothing to anchor to it, and that's,
And when you do the railing, to me, doing it is if you're gonna remove that, you take that railing out to All-Pro, blast it, powder prime it, and then match that color as close as you can to the building.
I
and
was
reinstall
actually,
that.
I was actually thinking about doing something more with the aluminum, or you didn't actually paint it at all.
Well, that matches the rest of the steel architecture out
The
there.
problem with the powder coating, even when we do powder coat it, it is still, that's up for debate. I mean, I haven't chosen yes or no on that. You still end up doing it every so often. You gotta be able to take that railing out.
My railings, you don't do whatever so often. They go out and they're done.
Powder
When I install them, they're done.
Cause we had the powder coating on the 15-minute signs out here, and those are all rusted up in the bottom.
And I question how they did it.
Yeah, and that might be a technical method, so, no, that is your choice. It's not critical that we get those done. It was just, we're gonna get a quote on this area, so let's throw that in and just see what kind of fish we can get with it, so.
Well, when Mike's asking about all of them, on Area D, to me, that should be done, if you wanna have a sidewalk there, when you, like, literally pull all the asphalt out of the parking lot and pour that, because there is nothing there now, right?
No, the reason Area D is gonna be considered is because it was asphalt against the building,
Yeah,
and it
That's
sep-
not
it
right.
doesn't,
pulling,
yeah,
yeah, I
so,
can see a big gap in
so
there.
that was, if there's any critical area, that's probably the next critical one to get done, but
Yeah,
it's pick or choose. I mean, that's, right now I had about 35 to 40,000 set aside to do some of this work, so.
in Area E is just a step, basically, by that gate, right?
Because we have
Because
no,
it's a big step right there.
yeah, it's too big to get off. So if somebody had to get off the roof, I mean, at least,
18
it's
inches
debatable
down or
too, if you
something
even
is.
need it or not, or if you just let somebody, how often does it happen, but.
Council, any other concerns?
Well-
Somebody want to move?
Yeah,
I'll move it.
Do we have anything in the budget that we could get it all done at once? I mean, we can save about $10,000 by doing it at once. If you do it piecemeal, you're gonna spend,
That's my argument, Mike. I'm saying some of it shouldn't be done now,
Go ahead and offer your motion, Frank.
because Area D, to me, shouldn't be done until you remove the asphalt. So you can form it, pour it, and put your asphalt back against that poured concrete. Or else you got a gap in there that you have to backfill, so you got this funny trough along your concrete. And it don't work that way. Doesn't look good.
Yeah,
Well,
one
when
of
you-
the thoughts was, I mean, I don't have it programmed yet, but I'm gonna say within the next 3 years, we're gonna have to do something with
I
the
would
parking
guess
lots.
Probably within 5.
Yeah,
that
up
asphalt
here.
will be-
Yep, the
gone.
front parking lot and on the back.
yeah.
I mean, for now, we can put some caulk in there, some of that elastic caulk, just to try to keep some of that water out to deal with it, but.
I'm gonna
Okay.
move to award to custom builders to replace that concrete. Sections A and B in the amount of $36,816.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
I,
Passes 3-1. Okay, I think that was the last thing on our regular agenda, and I may have started a little bit early tonight. I used that clock, so I'll allow you time to use our open forum. State your name and address up there, please. Oh, I used that clock up there. I think that might be a little fast compared to my wristwatch, so maybe 3 minutes difference, so.
Gary Morganroth, 1125 Cherrywood Court. And, wow, listen to this. I don't need an amphitheater, to be honest with you. But no, I came over here, my main thing was this water increase every quarter, it seems like. But I went back here 2017, then 2018, now we get this next one with the new deal. Okay? And it sounds good, up to 9,000 gallons, you can save a lot of money. And so the gal out there printed out Barb and I's average use, and we don't water our lawn with the city water or any of that. We just take a shower and wash our clothes and do our dishes and flush the toilet, okay? And we average about 10,000 gallons. So based on my last bill, another, it's not gonna increase, but it's gonna go up another $12.36. The reason I'm coming here and talking to you about this is that how much of this can we all afford? I talked to Bill here a couple weeks ago, cause I put a water filter system in my water system, and he saw it. 2 months, loaded, dirty water. Well, it's meeting minimum requirements, right? Meets requirements, so it'll be minimum. But the water is so dirty that it just destroys stuff. You know, and I'm not here, this just bothered me. I had to come, I looked on the site today, and I looked and seen you had a council meeting this afternoon, so I'm going, you know, it's the Barb, I'm going. Because it bothers me. I see our taxes are gonna be going up in 2019 again. I see all the crazy spending that's going on. I'm on the St. Cloud City Council case all the time for their crazy insanity over there. Green steps. You know, Wade Park is right in lockstep with St. Cloud on that one. Keeping up with the Joneses and doing what the big government wants you to do. I see it. I see who was all attending the Minnesota League of Communist Cities convention in St. Paul, or in River Center here a couple weeks ago when Kleist told me there wasn't one. But guys, we gotta, you know, I listened to you, Frank, there when you're concerned about the money of what Bill's talking about, cutting trees down and stuff. As an individual, we can't afford that. One-on-one, that kind of costs. But yet we see cities doing stuff that's just over the top with expense and basing it on tax revenue and everything else. Basically tax revenue, because that's how a city works off of. Fees or taxes. Like this thing here has got a fee for Minnesota fee, $6. Stormwater fee, $42. Service fee. Do we all live in St. Cloud? Or in Wade Park, excuse me?
Oh, yeah. We do.
And,
We sure do.
and we're getting all gray haired, except Frank's a little younger here. And the girls are a little younger, and Bill's a
No,
little,
it's getting
he's just
gray,
a boy
too.
yet. But you guys are all just like me.
Yep.
Guys, we gotta be taking some stronger consideration into what we're doing and how we're spending money. We really do. I'm looking at, listening to this conversation about $78,000 to move trees out, to put an amphitheater in for what? What do we need an amphitheater for? What do we really need it for? Joneses? Keeping up with the Joneses?
But isn't that kind of like saying, well, then we don't need the
We don't
Paramount
need
Theater,
streets.
we don't need,
There's a lot of things you don't need.
we don't need the arts at all around? I mean, this fits right into the
There's a
arts.
limit, isn't there? Isn't there a limit to how much we have to keep up with the Joneses here?
I
I
don't
mean,
think,
a couple years ago or a year or so ago, I saw the guys proposing a bike path through the swamp over here. Good Lord.
Well, anyway, you're mixing a lot of different issues. When it comes to water, that is an enterprise fund. And them funds have to be paid by the users, so that's why you see them
but
things
it's going
reflect
up
that
and up
way.
and up, and then we got bad
And
water
then
to boot.
same with, when you talk about the amphitheater, that comes from our sales tax. And when you pass that sales tax, you allowed, what is it, 60% that goes to our parks?
40.
40% that goes to our parks, and the other 60% basically goes to road improvements. So everything's coming out of its appropriate fund. So when you talk about the amphitheater, that doesn't come out of your general taxes.
I don't know, it just
The
seems like we're.
property taxes you pay on your dwelling,
So why
that
do
doesn't,
we-
that
why
money
do we
doesn't
keep-
come from there.
Why do we keep increasing all these taxes, though?
We haven't increased
We
taxes.
haven't.
We haven't increased taxes for almost 6 years.
Keep it up.
We're trying.
Well, yeah,
We're trying. That's our goal each year. As far as your water issue, we are forced from the state and our auditors to properly bill. We were behind in it for many, many years. It stayed pretty low, and the auditors in the state caught up with us and said, you have to start increasing. So instead of doing a large increase right away, we opt to do it just a little at a time to make it a little bit easier for everybody, and hopefully that they understand that But, the price of water and sewer is, you know, yeah, we do our sewer through the city of St. Cloud, our water is our own, but we are governed by the state and, some of the other departments or county departments and things to come up with a plan that covers, like Frank was saying, the cost of how much it actually costs to produce that water and get rid of the sewer, so.
Yeah, and I don't hear very well, but I understood you to say the water was dirty.
Oh, yeah.
And I also listened to a lot of generalities, which doesn't help me with any
No,
specifics.
the water, I'll just share this. I know that I'm way over my time, but it's just a
Yes.
couple, few of us here.
Yeah, I got to ask you to wrap it up, if
Yeah.
you can, as soon as you can.
But we put had a filter system fail on us, and I put a new one in that had a clear canister on it. It was in 3 months, and I seen sand and redness on the bottom of the canister. So I started questioning it, so I started looking around, so I decided to put inline water filter in ahead of all my water softener and everything else. And the filter lasted July 20th from April 5th, so what would that be?
3.5
3
months.
months.
3.5 months or whatever, 3 months. And Bill saw I came and saw him on July 20th, somewhere 21st, I came and met him over at the new building. Because it was just, you could tell the water was really tasting funny again and everything. And so I put a new filter in, and that one already is turned red already, and that's only been since July 20th, and now, what is today? July, 30th? 10 days.
What do you attribute that to, Bill?
He lives on a dead-end main, so he's in a cul-de-sac. And we are about a week and a half away from flushing, on our yearly flushing. So anytime that when you flush, those dead ends of those hydrant leads are full of rust and iron and manganese. I mean, it naturally happens within water sitting in pipes like that. So if Gary lived out on the main road on Sunwood, I told him, I said, you're still gonna see that, because we don't have a zero iron and manganese removal. We can't afford it. I mean, the price of water would go too high. So, I mean, yeah, we can get pristine water, but then you're probably looking
cost,
at a cost. So it meets the guidelines that the state and the EPA put on us. If people choose to have cleaner water in that, which some people do, some people don't like the fluoride taste, some people don't like the chlorine, whatever is in there still meets the state requirements for us. That's up to them, and that's why you see the industries of point of use, these companies that are selling filters and reverse osmosis systems, because some people would rather not do that. There's some people that love well water that live on a farm that's full of iron that you can taste it, you know, and some people don't like it. So that's the criteria. Gary just happens to live on a dead end, what I call a dead end or a cul-de-sac, so that water doesn't move. It just kind of just slowly comes down there and just sits. So yeah, it's a problem on dead ends, and there's not much else more we can do about that, except for flush every so often. But once we do that, that stirs up the rest of the line. So when you flush, you want to do it in a direction, pull it out. So
Do you think the water bill has gotten better or worse in the last 20 years?
much better since the day I came. Yeah. Yep.
Well, thanks, Gary, appreciate the comments. I guess we're pretty much done, yeah, at 4:59.